Hello, and welcome back. I'm so happy you've decided to join me for another relaxing painting session. I hope you're doing well, and that these next few minutes will give you the chance to slow down, unwind, and simply enjoy the creative process. Before we begin today's painting, I'd like to share a thought that I find quite interesting. One of the wonderful things about painting is that there isn't just one right way to approach it. If you were to watch 10 different artists paint the same subject, you would probably see 10 completely different ways of building the image. Some artists like to develop the whole painting at once, moving from one area to another, so that everything progresses together. They gradually refine the entire composition, adding detail little by little across the whole surface. Others, and that's the approach I'm taking today, prefer to work in stages. I'll begin by developing the background almost to completion before gradually moving forward through the middle ground and finally to the foreground. I find this method very satisfying because it allows me to concentrate on one part of the painting at a time, almost like discovering the landscape layer by layer. Neither approach is better than the other. They're simply different ways of thinking, and that's one of the things I love about art. There are so many paths that can lead to a beautiful result. As always, I'll also be using a few special tools today. Not traditional painting tools, but ordinary household items that can create beautiful textures and effects in surprising ways. I wonder if you'll be able to guess what they are before I use them. And of course, I have my usual little challenge for you. Can you guess what I'm painting today before the final details appear? I'd love to hear your guesses in the comments. While you're there, please let me know where you're watching from. Reading your comments and discovering where you're joining me from has become one of my favorite parts of making these videos. And I'd also love to know, do you prefer following along with the painting and imagining how you would create it yourself, or do you simply enjoy relaxing and watching the image slowly come to life? Whatever brings you here today, I'm truly grateful you're here. So, make yourself comfortable, perhaps with a cup of tea or coffee nearby, and let's enjoy another creative journey together. As this painting continues to develop, I'd like to talk about something that I think is fascinating and incredibly important in landscape painting. It's the way we create a sense of distance. After all, the paper is completely flat. There isn't any real depth, and yet somehow we're able to create the illusion of hills, valleys, forests, and mountains stretching far into the distance. One of the most powerful tools we have for doing that is color. You'll notice that the different slopes and areas of the landscape don't all have the same intensity or temperature. Generally speaking, the areas closest to us tend to have warmer, richer colors. You'll often see more yellows, oranges, warm greens, and stronger contrasts. As our eyes travel farther into the distance, the colors usually become cooler. Blues, blue-greens, violets, and softer tones begin to dominate the landscape. This happens because of something called atmospheric perspective. The air between us and distant objects softens their colors and contrasts, making them appear cooler and less defined. Our eyes have learned to interpret those subtle changes as distance. It's quite amazing when you think about it. With nothing more than changes in color and value, we can transform a flat sheet of paper into a landscape that feels spacious and full of depth. Of course, one of the wonderful things about art is that these aren't rules. They're simply tools. An artist can choose to follow them or deliberately ignore them. Sometimes we might decide to make distant mountains warm and glowing, or paint the foreground with cool blues to create a completely different atmosphere or emotional effect. That's the beauty of painting. We understand these visual principles, but we're free to interpret them in our own way. And, as you'll probably notice while watching me paint, I'm constantly making small decisions. I'm asking myself questions all the time. Should this area be warmer? Would it work better if it were cooler? Should I soften this edge or make it stand out a little more? Painting is really a continuous conversation with the artwork. If I try something and it doesn't feel quite right, I simply change it. Nothing is fixed. Every brush stroke is another opportunity to improve the painting or take it in a different direction. I think that's a very encouraging lesson, not only for painting, but for life as well. We don't have to make perfect decisions every time. We simply make the best decision we can with what we know in that moment. And if we later discover a better way, we can always adjust and keep moving forward. I'd love to ask you, when you look at a landscape, what captures your attention first? Is it the colors, the feeling of depth, or simply the atmosphere of the place? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. with that, today's painting is complete. Thank you so much for spending these moments with me. I truly appreciate that you've chosen to be here, and I hope this video has brought you a little inspiration, a little peace, and perhaps a few new ideas to explore in your own creative journey. One of the things I love most about painting is that there is never just one way to create a beautiful result. Every artist sees the world a little differently, and that's exactly what makes art so exciting. I hope today's painting has encouraged you to trust your own decisions, experiment with confidence, and enjoy the process of discovering your own style. If you enjoyed today's video, I'd be so grateful if you gave it a like and subscribed to the channel. It really helps me continue creating these relaxing painting sessions and sharing my passion for art with all of you. I'd also love to hear from you in the comments. Where are you watching from today? What was your favorite part of today's painting? And is there a landscape, flower, animal, or any other subject you'd like me to paint in a future video? Your suggestions are always welcome, and many of them become inspiration for future projects. If you'd like to see more of my artwork, you're very welcome to visit my website, where you can explore a larger collection of my paintings and learn more about my artistic journey. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook, where I share new artwork, works in progress, and behind-the-scenes moments from my studio. You'll find all the links in the information section of my channel. And if one of the paintings you've seen here on the channel has a special place in your heart, or you'd like to know more about it, please don't hesitate to get in touch. I'd be delighted to hear from you. Finally, thank you for making this channel such a warm and welcoming community. Reading your comments, discovering where you're watching from, and hearing your stories is one of the greatest rewards of creating these videos. Take good care of yourself. Keep observing the beauty around you, keep creating, and remember that every painting begins with a single brush stroke. I hope to see you back here very soon for another relaxing painting session. Until next time.